Namaste, everybody. Welcome back to our 15th session of Soundarya Lahari. Last week, we covered a lot of topic, and I know it was a little bit heavy, but today we will make it light for a lot of time for questions. And I promise to keep the topics very, very minimal. And today we will also finalize the introduction, and then next week we can go to the verse 9. With that, let's all sit tall, head, neck, and trunk in a straight line, paying attention to our body first, and then paying attention to our breathing. As we inhale, the body is slightly expanding, and as we exhale, we are relaxing. So pay attention to the chest as it rises with the inhalation and it falls with exhalation. See the pattern of breathing and sensation of breath in our chest region. Let's take a deep breath. Exhale completely. Deep inhalation. Exhale completely. One more deep inhalation. With complete exhalation, relax the body. Very good. Now, keeping the eyes closed, let's do the Rupa Dhyana of Devi. Sinduraruna Vigraham. We are meditating on that Devi who is in the color of Sinduram, vermilion. Trinayanam, she has 3 eyes. Manikya Maulispurat, on her head, she has beautiful crown studded with rubies. Tara Naika Shekaram, she is also adorned with crescent moon. Ashtami Chandran. Smita Mukhi, she's smiling. Apina Vakshoruham, in her chest, she has the Kshira Sagaram, that is indicating the nourishment for her entire children in the cosmos. Panipyam Alipurna Ratna Chashakam, in her one hand, there is the jewel-studded pot, which is filled with nectar, amritam. Hence, bees are buzzing around the nectar. Rektolpalam Pipratim. In the other hand, there is a lotus flower that is Rakta in color, red in color. Saumyam Ratna Khatasta Rakta Charanam Thyayet Param Ambikam. Her holy feet is resting on a pedestal, again studded with jewels. And we are meditating on that Devi. Let's do a quick Manasa Puja, where I'm offering everything unto the Devi, merging all the tattvams that we have to her. And that way, I am recognizing myself as Ishvara, the Shuddha Chaitanyam. Jalam, I am offering, that is representing the Jala Tattvam in me. I am offering sandal paste, representing Prithvi Tattvam. I am offering Pushpam, the flower, representing the Akasha Tattvam. I am offering incense Dhupam, representing Vayu Tattvam. I am offering Deepam, the lamp, representing Agni Tattvam. Finally, I am offering the full Naivedyam, representing my prana. I am completely offering all the Panchatattvam in me to Devi, and I am recognizing me as the Shuddha Chaitanyam or Ishvara. Keep that Devi Vigraham for one more moment. Very good. We'll start with some prayers. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam Vakratundha Mahakaya Suryakotis Samaprabha Nirvikhnam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Sarvamangalamangalye Shive Sarvarthasadhike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Shri Matre Namah. Welcome back. Today we will summarize whatever we discussed last week. We'll simply summarize and then couple more things, and we should be opening up for questions. So we talked a lot about chakras and Kundalini last week. So what we saw is that human beings have unlimited, it seems like there is so much potential. There are sports personalities that we saw, there are musicians, the artists, all different people, right? Like they have either advanced physical ability, advanced mental ability, or spiritual ability, or creative ability. All that things we know what is the possibility. Not everybody is like that. The degree is changing from people to people, and that's where we are seeing like, okay, if that is the maximum potential we can, and this maximum, as we see in the Olympics, these records are being broken on a day-to-day basis, right? And so we know that even that boundaries is extending. So if there is this potential, then that potential has to be in every human being. So that potential, that inherent potential in every human being, that fertility or productivity, that is what is known as Kundalini Shakti. Now that Kundalini Shakti is dormant in many of us, hence we are not a Da Vinci or anybody else. So that dormant energy, how can we work with that Shakti and increase our capacity from a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level? And ultimately, how can we take it to the point where we are understanding that we are Ishvara is the goal of Tantra. So there are so many different practices that we talked about. How can we make our body, mind, and intellect be ready for this? So there are pujas, obviously. There are mantras. There are yantra, different meditation. All these are different techniques. And this particular chakra and Kundalini energy are used for meditation purpose. And we saw that Kundalini is that dormant energy in all of us. And we looked into the energy traveling path, which is nadis. What we learned last week is that the chakras or Adhara Padmam or Adhara Chakram, they are actually superimposed in the nadi, which is Sushumna, for meditation purpose. That's pretty much it. Just like we gave a rupam to the Devi that we just did the Rupa Dhyanam on, similarly, because there is no one single female as Devi, right? Everything is Devi, but in order to do a meditation on Devi, we gave her a rupam, right? Rishis gave her a rupam, and that's what we are meditating on. So it is actually in that rupam, we are superimposing that Shakti, right? Similarly, in that nadis that we have where energy is traveling, that we are superimposing these chakras, which represents the actual abstract concept. We'll talk about that in detail. We discussed last week, but we can just touch upon it one more time. So we talked about each chakra represents something. And those chakras are not actual things, but they are superimposed for meditation purpose. And hence, it will vary from sampradaya to sampradaya. Every single guru, every single sampradaya could be using this in a different form because it is actually something superimposed. Because you can see that even just simply take the example of Krishna, right? If you go to 5 different temples of Krishna, we will be seeing the 5 different bhavas of Krishna. Not everywhere it will be same. The same with Shiva. Shiva is not worshipped in every single place that exact same bhava. It could be different. Krishna, some could be baby Krishna, some could be the adult Krishna, some could be Vishnu. Guruvayur in fact has Vishnu, but it turned into a Krishna worship thing. So the bhavas of each thing could be different. Similarly, here there are different sampradayas could be used different. So if you see this in a different place in a different way, that is exactly why it is. So the first thing that we talked about was nadis. Nadis carry the prana or the energy throughout the body. And the 3 main nadis that rishis talk about are Sushumna, the one that is connecting the Muladhara chakra to our Sahasrara chakra, all the way on the top. That's the Sushumna. And then you can see that there are 2 on the side that's going around. They are called Ida on the left side and Pingala on the right side. So that is the nadis which carries energy. Now, there is about 72,000 nadis. These we are talking about only 3 over here because these are the main one. So majority of us, the energy travel through Ida and Pingala. Once we evolve like a yogi, then the energy will be traveling through Sushumna. So now we also talked about what does chakra represent, right? Because we talked about human beings have some basic anxieties and fears. So each chakra represents evolving over that anxiety. So if we take the Muladhara chakra, which is all the way on the bottom, like in the root of when we sit down. So that chakra representing the human behavior, basic human needs. What are the basic human needs for survival? We need food, we need shelter, we need clothes, we need health. So those basic human needs are the ones. It's not about not having them, but even the ones who have them, we have anxiety over them. Will we lose the house? Will we lose the person I'm with? Will we have enough to eat? All that anxiety over things are the ones that we need to kind of go over, right? So that is where that Muladhara chakra represents. Now, if we evolve over that, we won't have tense to know. Even if we lose something, we won't get anxious over that. The next is the Swadhisthana chakra, which represents our creativity part, sexuality part. So again, there are anxieties for the people over that. So that is what Swadhisthana chakra represents. The third one is Manipuraka chakra. This is all about resources, wealth, right? Wealth in the form of health. Once we have the basic human needs taken care, once we have our reproduction or creativity taken care, then the next we worry about is all our desires, right? We need more wealth in terms of so many, in terms of money that we need, in terms of relationships, in terms of fame, power, everything. So those are the ones that then next we are concerned about. So there again, if we are tensed over that, anxious over that, if we have the fear over those, that is where that Manipura chakra represents. Then come again on top, it's Anahata chakra. Anahata chakra is at the heart region. And it talks all about compassion, love, attachment. Those are the areas where people have so much of the emotional unavailability issue. So those people who are evolved over that fears of this chakra, you can immediately recognize them. They will have love flowing through their face for the eyes. So those are the people that we are talking about. So they have love to everybody, every creature, not just the human beings, every creature, even nature too, because nature itself is a form of compassion. So that's what that Anahata chakra represents. Next is the Vishuddhi. Vishuddhi is in our throat. So that represents more of a clarity And it is also a place for creativity. Basic human creativity is creating a new human being. Almost everybody can do that, right? So now, if that same Shakti that we are using to create a human being, that same Shakti, if we use it for, let's say, to create a poem or creating an art, if we are creative in any other field, that's exact same thing at the Vishuddhi chakra. So it's both are the same Shakti manifested in different form. Okay, so that represents that is the Vishuddhi chakra. As we evolve through all these different chakras, we get cleansed at that Vishuddhi, and that's hence the name Vishuddhi. It's Shuddham. The Jivatma becomes Shuddham in that chakra. Then comes the Ajna chakra, which is near the eyebrows. It's all about wisdom. So, wisdom to recognize what is real, what is not real, and wisdom in even in the mundane work. Human beings are always confused about things. So, if our Ajna chakra is active, we will have the answers within ourselves. And this is where I mentioned that when we do the two guru chanting for the sadhana, once we have that sadhana advanced to a level, we will meet the guru inside. And that is where that our gurutvam will expand if our Ajna chakram is activated. So that's about the wisdom, provide all the answers to our questions. So these are the 6 different chakras. There is a famous song of Shiva for our Vaikam Shiva temple in Kerala. There is a Nama Shivaya Panchakshari Jabam for Shiva. It kind of goes with first verse is Na, second is Ma, then Shi, Va, last one is Ya. So the last verse, there is a line called Padiyarum Kadannavide Chellumbol, Shivane Kanagum, Shiva Shambho. Malayalis will know that. What that means is that once we cross these 6 steps, Padi means steps, so Aru means 6. So once we cross these 6 steps, we will experience Shiva. Right. So that's what they say. It is not talking about the 6 steps at the Vaikam temple. It's actually talking about these 6 steps in the Adhara chakra. Once we get rid of all the fears that we are talking about, by sadhana, we clean up our karma, we clean up our sukshma shariram, everything we clean up. That is when we are eligible to see Shiva. So that is what that line is talking about. And that is about this Adhara chakra. So this Adhara chakra are also related to Panchabuta. So you can see that they slowly start building up on this Adhara chakra, which is represent the abstract human traits, and now that is actually superimposed in different parts of our body. Because Brahmandam and Pindandam, the rishis considered this exactly the same. Brahmandam is the cosmos, and Pindandam is our human body, our body. So why are they considering both of the exactly the same? Because Brahmandam is made of Panchabutam, and Pindandam, we are made of Panchabutam. So hence there is equality. They saw similarity in the universe, in the Prapancham, and in us. For each of these Adhara chakra has the one of the Panchabuddha associated with that. And there is a reason for that too. So let's first look into Mooladharam. Mooladharam is the one that we are very close to earth, right? Mooladharam is Prithvi Tattva. You might remember at the beginning when we talked about how this whole Panchabuddha is created. So from Shuddha Chaitanyam, it started having the spandana, the vibration, Shakti start vibrating. And from that vibration, create that energy. Energy is slowly changing into matter. What is actually the matter? When you look into the closest, it's atoms, paramanu, protons, electrons, neutrons. No matter what you take, ultimately you will see atoms, right? So now the difference in a pen versus a computer versus this shawl versus me myself, the only difference is how the paramanus are connected together, right? So some are loosely, so everything is a structurally is the only difference. Otherwise the content is exactly the same. Even science wise, proton, neutrons, electrons. So content-wise, everything is same. So the structure is what is different. So the in that way, we can say that structure of the matter is what that Panchabuta is. So if it is loosely connected, that is more of an Akasha. Then if it becomes condensed and getting more condensed, it becomes Vayu. If it is condensed again, it becomes Agni. Condensed again, Jalam. Condense even anything that is completely solid, that we can say it is in Prithvi Tattva. So those are the 5 states of matter the rishis have classified. How are they connected to chakra? Prithvi Tattvam to Mooladhara. We are made of all the Panchabuta. Panchabuta, each of the Buddha, they don't exist its own. So even in Jala Tattvam, if we take a glass of water, it has other tattvams included in it. So for it is it goes kind of an opposite way. For example, Vayu Tattvam has Akasha Tattvam and Vayu Tattvam included in it. Agni Tattvam has Akasha Tattvam, Vayu Tattvam and Agni Tattvam included in it. Jala Tattvam has Akasha Tattvam, Vayu Tattvam, Agni Tattvam and Jala Tattvam included in it. And finally, Prithvi Tattvam has all 5 included in it. So because we know that we look solid, so we have to be Prithvi Tattvam, but in us we have Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jalam, and Prithvi. Can we say we have Prithvi only in one particular point, that only in Mooladhara? No, that is not true. But for the meditation purpose, for each of the Adhara chakra has a Buddha, one of the Panchabuta was related to it. And it is not really random. So I'll tell you why each of them has selected that particular one. So let's take the Mooladharam for example. Mooladharam is when we sit down, that is the one that is very close to Prithvi, that is very close to the Bhumi. And that is where we are seeing like rooted. We are closer to earth, we are rooted, we feel the heaviest. That's why Mooladharam represents the Prithvi Tattva. Then goes to Swadhisthana. Swadhisthana is where all our urinal, all the thing that is associated with the liquid part of it, that is more in that area, our genital area. That is why Swadhisthana Chakram is associated with Jala. So all the rasa. So again, the Tanmatra is what I wrote the next one. So Mooladhara Chakram is in Prithvi Tattvam and its Tanmatra is Gandham. Swadhisthana Chakra has Jala Tattvam and its Tanmatra is Rasam. Then comes the Manipuraka Chakra. Manipuraka Chakra is all about Agni. Agni, if you look into in our body, where is the Agni? We have a Jatara Agni. Jatara Agni in our tummy, where food is digested using that Jatara Agni, that acid. So that's the Agni in the human body. And that's why the Manipuraka Chakra is associated with the Panchabhutam Agni. And Agni's Tanmatra is Rupa, because only if there is light, you can see the Rupa. So that's why the Rupam is there. And all these things have Karmendriya associated with that. I'm not going into more details, so let me simplify it for today. Then comes the Anahata Chakra. Anahata Chakra at our heart center. And where do we see Vayu? We have lungs very close. So does that mean that only in lung we have Vayu? No. In the oxygenated blood is actually going to every single cell of our body. But because the lungs are there, there's more Vayu content in there. So hence the Vayu element is associated with Anahata Chakra and Vayu is associated with the Tanmatra Sparsham. Next is the throat one is the Vishuddhi. Vishuddhi is associated with the Akasha. Akasham at the throat is where sound comes, right? That is associated with Shabdam, Shabda Tanmatra. Then finally the Ajna. So we finished that Panchabhudam from Prithvi, Jalam, Agni, Vayu, Akasham. From the Shuddha Chaitanyam, when Panchabhudam is created, Panchabhudam was a simplistic 5 tattvam, Pancha tattvam. But in fact, that tattvam is expanded to 25 tattvam and in certain things, even 36 tattvam. As we expand meaning what comes first, because we are talking about the final thing as Panchabhudam, but before the Panchabhudam, the Pancha Tanmatras are there, and mind is the one that is formed before Panchabhudam. So that's why the next Ajna Chakram is associated with the mind. We mentioned that this is actually for meditation. Where is the meditation without Devatha? So we have Devatha also associated with each of these chakras. Now remember, this is what I wrote here is one sampradaya, right? So different sampradaya uses different methodologies, different devatas you would see. So it would be, it goes, varies from people to people. If you have a meditation, in case you have a guru who has given you a meditation technique, go with what that guru mentioned. So because there is no right or wrong here, whatever the methodology that sampradaya or that system is following is the right one. Because again, all these things are superimposed or using as a symbolic. So any sampradaya are right. I have seen so many different versions of this in different people, different sampradayas, different gurus. But I just wanted to show you one example. So at least you get a general idea. The idea is not for you to complicate. So just know these. The reason why I'm going through this is that these are mentioned in some of these upcoming verses. So I just wanted you to have a basic understanding, especially for people who have never heard the Kundalini energy or chakras. So let's go through the Devatas. Devatas, the Muladhara Chakram is Ganapati. Some of the basic things that we need in a human life is Siddhi and Buddhi, right? Because anything that we do, we want to do it with such perfection. But what happens is that if we have that basic anxiety that we are talking about, people won't be able to do these things in a perfect way. So if we do a sadhana on that chakra with that devata, we will be receiving that whatever that devata is standing for, because each devata has a guna. So that gunam that we will be receiving it. So in Muladhara chakra, Ganapati represents the gunam Siddhi and Buddhi. Then Swatisthana chakram is Brahma with Saraswati, who is the best creator, who created this universe, Brahma. So with his Shakti, Saraswati. So that is where the Swatisthana chakra is. Manipuraka. Manipuraka is all about wealth. We mentioned that wealth in the form of health, wealth in the form of relationship, money, fame, power, everything. All that wealth. Who is the devata of Samriddhi? Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the devata of Samriddhi. So that devata there is Vishnu with Lakshmi. Then is the Anahata Chakra. Anahata Chakra is Shiva with Parvati. Remember, this Shiva is different from the Shiva Shakti we talk about. When we say Shiva Shakti, we are talking about that supreme Shuddha Chaitanya, nothing else, no Rupam like that, right? So here, this is the Shiva that with the family man Shiva, right? Shiva sitting with Parvati and two boys. So Shiva with Parvati. So you probably heard the sloka, Karpura Gauram Karunavataram Samsara Saram Bhujagendra Haram Sada Vasantam Hridayaravinde Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. So Karpura Gauram. Karpuram is white in color. You have seen the Karpuram, the camphor. So, oh, by the way, Shiva that is in the Dhyana slogam is white in color. Only the TV serial Shiva looks in blue in color. So the Dhyana slokas of Shiva is actually white in color. White as in Karpuram white, okay? So Karpura Gauram, Karunavataram. We saw that the element is compassion, love, attachment. So Karpura Gauram, Karunavataram. So he's the avataram of compassion. Sarasaram, Bhujagendra Haram. So he's the essence of this samsaram. And Bhujagendra Haram. Bhujagam is the sarpam, the snakes. So he's wearing a mala of snakes, and Sada Vasandam Hridayaravinде. So he's bringing always the spring. Sada Vasandam, where is he staying? Hridayaravinде. Adhara Chakra is also known as Adhara Padma. Padmam is lotus. So that is Hridaya Aravindam. Aravindam is lotus. So he stays in our heart. So Hridayaravinde Bhavam Bhavani Sahidam Namami. Bhavani is Parvati. So along with Parvati in our Hridayaravindam, we are doing a Namami to you. That's the Shiva with Parvati. Then Vishuddhi Chakram. Vishuddhi Chakram is where we become clear, clean. The Jivatma, by our good karmas, by our sadhana, we becomes devoid of all that karmic impurities, all that things are removed. The Jivatma becomes clean at that Vishuddhi chakra. So Ajna, the place is for Guru. So that's how those devatas are in different Adhara chakra. Once we have this symbolized, then you can add on to things, right? So now each of these Adhara Padmam, they are also called Padma. Padma means lotus. So the lotus will have petals. So now each of them has petals of different number. Mooladharam is a lotus with 4 petals. Swadhishtanam with 6 petals. Manipuraka with 10 petals, Anahatam with 12, Vishuddhi with 16, and Ajna with 2 petals. If you count, the 4 plus 6 plus 10 plus 12 plus 16 plus 2 becomes 50 aksharas of Sanskrit. Each of these petals have a akshara too. That's another one. So all together, if we combine, that is 50 petals representing 50 aksharas. Tantra has such deep things to do the meditation. So each of this petal has Devatha. So just imagine. So there are 50 of them. And these are all for advanced people. If anybody is interested, that's where you will go. What I'm trying to say is that Tantra is so advanced with so much of nuance in that worship. So that's where this is extensively used. We mentioned that Brahmandam and Pindandam are exactly the same. We saw what is Sri Yantram. Sri Yantram is the representation of Ishvara and the entire cosmos. So that if we put that in a 3-dimensional form, that is called Sri Yantram. Similarly, we can use our own body as Sri Yantram. Sri Yantram is usually made it in metal, but we can use that our own body. And there is a verse that is coming for that. You already know that temples are made with rupam of our body, right? There is an equality there, how a temple is constructed and how the body is. So it's exactly how our body is. So there is each one, Garbhagriham, the Gopuram, each one Gopuram represents the Devan's Padam. So the human body and temples are related. Similarly, the human body and can be kind of symbolized as the Sri Yantra for the worship. So just to summarize quickly, so the chakras are used only for meditation, and each of the chakra actually represent a human element, abstract human behavior, and each of them has a devata, each of them has associated with Panchabuta, and each of these petal has an akshara there, and each of the petal also has a devata in there. So this goes into so much advanced for meditation purpose. Understanding in a high level could be helpful as we learn those verses. Let's sit tall, head, neck, trunk in a straight line. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshan Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Vakratundha Mahakaya, Suryakotis Samaprabha, Nirvikhnam Kurume Deva, Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Dhyana Sloka. Sindhuraruna Trinayanam, Manikyamaulispurat, Taranayakashekaram, Smitamukhim, Apinavakshoruham, Panibhyam, Alipurna Ratnachashakam, Raktolpalam Vipratim, Saumyam Ratnakhatastharaktacharanam, Dhyayet Param Ambikam. Slokam. Shivashaktya yukto yadi bhavati shakta prabhavitum na chedevam devo na khalu kushalaspantidumapi atastvamadhyam harihara virinjadipirapi pranamtum stotum va kathamakrita punya prabhavati. Taniyam sambamsum tava charana pankeruha bhavam virinchis sanchinvan virajayati lokana vikalam mahatyenam shauri kathamapi sahasrena shirasam हरः संक्षुद्यैनं भजति बसितोद्धूलनविधिम् अविद्यानामन्ततिमिरमिहिरद्वीपनगरी जडानां चैतन्य तपकमकरन्तश्रुतिझरी दरिद्राणां चिन्तामणि गुणनिका जन्मजलधौ निमग्नानां दंष्ट्रा मुररिपुवराहस्य भवति त्वदन्यपाणिभ्याम् अभयवरदो दैवतगणा त्वमेका नैवासि प्रकटितवराभीत्यभिनया भयात्रातुं धातुं फलमपि च वाञ्छासमधिकम् शरण्ये लोकानां तव हि चरणावेव निपुणौ हरिस्त्वामाराध्य प्रणतजनसौभाग्यजननीं पुरा नारी भूत्वा पुररिपुमपि क्षोभमनयत् स्मरोऽपि त्वां नत्वा रतिनयनलेह्येन वपुषा मुनीनामप्यन्त प्रभवति हि मोहाय महताम् धनुः पौष्पं मौर्वी मधुकरमयी पञ्चविशिखा वसन्तः सामन्तो मलयमरुदायो धनरथ तथाप्येकः सर्वं हिमगिरिसुते कामविकृपाम् अभाङ्गाते लब्ध्वा जगदिदमनङ्गो विजयते क्वणत्काञ्जीदामा करिकळभकुम्भस्तननता परिक्षीणा मध्ये परिणतशरच्चन्द्रवदना धनुर्बाणान् पाशं तृणिमपि दधाना करतलै पुरस्तादास्ताम्ना पुरमतिदुराहो पुरुषिका सुधा सिन्धोर्मध्ये सुरविटपि वाटी परिवृते मणिद्वीपे नीपो पवनवति चिन्तामणिगृहे शिवाकारे मञ्चे परमशिवपैत्यङ्कनिलयां भजन्ति त्वां धन्या कतिचन चितानन्दलहरीम्. Let's chant Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshal Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Shri Matre Namah. May Devi's blessings be with you all.